Hi, my name is Sanju Ganglani. I am the co-founder of Gang&lani Media and a website expert and SEO specialist with Bookmark. We've won multiple awards with our SEO work across the world, specializing in helping businesses such as yours get ranked and grow their revenues year over year. So the first thing that a business owner needs to do is be aware of the tools that are available to them to have awareness into how their business is growing. So there's two main tools that do that. One is Google Search Console. And what Google Search Console does is it allows a business owner the same visibility that Google has into your business. So it allows you to kind of go about things, understanding how you're looked at by Google in terms of how you're indexed, in terms of how your mobile speed is, in terms of how they're ranking and perceiving your value online. The other important tool that needs to be leveraged is something called Google Analytics. Google Analytics allows you to get visibility into who exactly is hitting your website. So you want to know, you may think that your customer is a 34 to 45-year-old male who lives in a certain city, but really it ends up being a 55 to 65-year-old female who lives in a totally different country. So, having that visibility and understanding who's actually landing on your website, and then looking at key metrics such as bounce rate to understand how long they're staying on your website, are sort of the basics that you need to understand the effect that you're having in the industry and to almost predict the success that you're going to have based on the content and the work that you're doing on your SEO. The third tool that I would kind of bring to the table is Google My Business. Google My Business is very important because it's essentially a digital yellow pages, if you will. So the ability to list your business and be found, the ability to do SEO work on that listing to kind of rank higher in the listing. So it's no longer alphabetical order, so to speak, like the good old days. It's very competitive and it's very much based on the work that you put in and the effort that you put in to align with Google's goals. The more you're going to show up, the more frequently that you're going to get more leads. So with bookmark sites, the good thing about a bookmark site is that it is generally already structured to be SEO friendly. So it allows us to go in and kind of create an environment where, the content and the tags, and we'll get into this in a little bit of detail, but the key elements that are needed to rank properly while leveraging these tools is already in place or is easy to implement. So one of the key elements to SEO, and one of the key focuses for SEO is obviously the site layout and the site structure. The good thing about Bookmark is the site layout is 99% done for you, in the sense that you're given the prompts, the AI goes in and it builds out a website that's very friendly or pretty much there where it needs to be in order to rank properly with SEO, or at least get some traction without too much effort. The other side of it is, as you grow, so if you're a business, let's say with multiple locations, and I was kind of bring this back to an example of a library. So, you go back to your local library and you're looking for a book on a topic about coffee, let's say, for argument's sake. And you're like, I want to learn how to make a cappuccino. So, the questions you'd go up to the librarian and ask are, hi, I'd like a book on cappuccinos. I'd like it based in Italy, and I want the book in English, for example. So, the same thing kind of applies online. If you have a coffee shop and you make a specific type of cappuccino made with the bean that's out of Italy, you're able to now go ahead and structure that page to be accordingly. So, for example, it would be www.sanjuscoffeeshop.com /cappuccino Italy best bean ever, or XYZ bean. Essentially now Google looks at that when they index it. So going back to our first question around indexing and console, when Google actually indexes that page, they know exactly when someone's asking, I'm looking for a cappuccino from Italy with X bean, or I'm looking for a cappuccino recipes from Italy, or I'm looking for Italian coffee, you start to kind of progress through the ranks and start to show because your content is relevant. That now ties back to the site itself. So now keeping in mind the structure of the actual URL, you're now going to look at the structure of your site and say, okay, so the first thing I got to talk about is cappuccino. So what's a cappuccino? How does it work? Why is the benefits of it? The second thing is, where is it from? So, my beans are from Italy. Italy is great because of XYZ. It's the best place to grow a bean, for example. Then you're going to talk about the specific bean. What's the quality and what's the thing of the bean? So essentially the structure of the website matches the structure of the URL, which now makes it easy for Google to go back and index it in a way that makes logical sense. So, I'm sure you heard the nice cliche, content is king. And while that holds true, it actually holds even more relevancy today. And the reason I say that is because if you look at anything that you go after now, we started off with websites being traditional, all pieces of, just text and images. Then it moved into infographics, and then it moved into audio mixes of things, and now it's moved into video. So just like you're watching this video today, the reason that we're recording this in video is because the value of the content is greater. So let me take this back a step. It's no longer the days of writing a blog in 15 minutes and finishing with it. I'd be even hesitant to say using an automated process. What you need is someone to actually go out and do the research and create a piece that when I read it, I understand it, and I want to take that piece of content and I want to share it. And that, what it does in turn is it drives traffic back to your website. It drives people to share that link on their websites, and it allows Google to say, hey, a lot of people are going here. Maybe more people should see this article to help them because they're seeing it as being helpful. So, there are shortcuts to doing content, obviously. We don't advise that just because from a long-term way, it's a loss of time and investment. And there's a lot of risk on the Google side of getting things like blacklisted or just not indexed anymore. The good thing is, working on the bookmark side as an expert over here, we're able to actually identify the gaps, help you build out a content strategy, and help you build it in a way that has a logical foundation that builds. So when algorithms change or things happen on search engines, you're not affected as much, and your investment is protected at the end of the day. So another key part to your strategy, and it's funny because we don't realize how many moving parts there are to SEO. And another key part that you probably are hearing about or are being told about is something called keywords. So keywords are essentially the terms or the words that you'd like people to associate with your business. So, just to keep on the topic of coffee, just because I haven't had one yet, it's essentially looking at and saying, okay, I want people to associate best coffee, coffee near me, coffee beans from Italy, cappuccino made with less milk or with different alternative dairy, and leveraging those pieces to attract the type of customer that you are specifically looking for. So this gets a little tricky, right? So usually we recommend a bit of an exercise where we say, kind of get a piece of paper and pen or a laptop or whatever you're into, and kind of list out what you think people think of you, number one, in terms of when they hear your brand name, what do they think of, or what do they associate back with you? And number two, list out who you think your competitors are in this space, because what your competitors are may not necessarily be what the research shows. So it kind of lends to a bit of a story or a bit of an example where you're able to kind of learn a bit more about your business unexpectedly. The team at Bookmark provides some pretty good tools to use to at least get an insight into where your business stands. But if you're looking for that little bit of an extra step, or you're looking for that, you're obviously very busy growing your business and trying to see that succeeds, and it's just like everyone has their own forte, right? So if it's something that you're having a little difficulty with, or you just want some clarity with, you're welcome to work with us on the expert team. You can leverage the Hire an Expert program, work with somebody over here, and essentially we'd be able to kind of help you through this exercise and help guide you through the process of understanding your perception versus Google's perception, and finding out what that happy medium is so that you obviously succeed, but still stay true to your vision and your business. Doing SEO by yourself is tough, right? And first of all, if you have been doing it yourself and seen success, you should congratulate yourself. That's amazing, right? There's a few things that, most business owners can do right away just to kind of verify and see what's happening, or see why they're not getting the traction that they thought they should be. One main thing is looking at your meta description. So if you go into the back end of your bookmark site, you can pretty easily identify your meta descriptions. And what you're looking for are sentences or phrases that just either aren't in proper English, are the same phrase 10 different ways, or just logically don't make sense or match that page. So that's one quick thing you can do to fix. Same thing goes with your H1 tags, right? So your header tags. Again, remember, Google's getting more and more sophisticated. The AI there is getting more and more intelligent. So they're starting to identify, and they're able to identify when something just doesn't look right. So what you don't want to do is give them an excuse to even doubt that what you have up there is with good intention and is relevant to the content that's on that page. Another part is looking at, I know we spoke about this earlier, about your site structure and looking at your link structure, because if you have a link that says case studies and you're sending them to book an appointment, and there's nothing else on that page, Google's like, what are you doing, right? So that's kind of going back in time, back analytics and looking at your bounce rates, and again, leveraging the whole strategy around this process. Other things that you can look at as well are mobile responsiveness on your website. Ensure that, on most devices, the site looks good. And, again, bookmark sites are great for that. They're generally very responsive, and then looking at your content at the end of the day, right? So a lot of people, again, are writing blogs. Either they're writing them too short, they're writing them too long. They're just keyword stuffing, which means putting the same keyword in 20 different ways, but not in a way that flows or makes sense with that article. So making sure that whatever you're doing and putting out there has that quality behind it. And then the other side of it to look at is the types of content and media that you're posting on your site, right? And that helps with SEO because you don't want just text or just images or just videos. You want a healthy mix. But when you're posting those videos and images, you want to ensure that the descriptions and the alt tags behind them, and again, you find all this on the back end of your website, are actually accurate, right? And as we go through this time where we're becoming more accessible as well, it becomes more and more important to our audiences, and therefore becomes more and more important to Google to look at as a ranking factor. Another term that you might hear as you're going through the process and the discovery of SEO is SERP, right? Or SERP, or however you want to pronounce it. Essentially, it's an acronym that means Search Engine Results Page. What that means is when you do a search on Google for, let's stick with the Italian cappuccinos, it's the results that show up on that page. So what that's relevant for is it helps you, again, as we tie back to the other pieces of the pie that we had, are essentially it allows you to get insight into, again, what is actually ranking, where you actually rank, where your competitors rank, and understanding the landscape of what you need to do and the type of content you need to deliver in order to kind of start to become relevant and eventually, hopefully take it over. So a backlink is essentially a way to have another site promote your content on their website in a manner that is organic and is relevant to the content on their website. Google tracks certain things such as what's called a domain authority, which is essentially how popular your website is. So, a blog that I started yesterday is not going to have a lot of authority because people don't know who it is. A major radio station or media outlet, for example, is going to have very high authority, so closer to, on a scale of 1 to 100, closer to 100. And sort of that's where you want to partner and have content posted. The journey of backlinks has been very interesting over the years. So initially, the strategy on backlinks was to get as many people as you could, regardless of their domain status, to get to post your link on their website. And what that did was, if you run tools nowadays, you'll still find sites like that. And what that does actually is it creates this situation where you're looking at quantity and not quality. And as Google has evolved, it's become, it's kind of evolved backlinks in a way that's made it mature, that as you get older, you want less people around you, but more quality people, and it's sort of the similar situation. So you want to associate yourself your website, rather, your bookmark site, with people who have quality users that will actually appreciate your content versus just spreading the news everywhere and hoping that it sticks. Over here at Bookmark, obviously community is very important to us. Supporting our community and working with businesses such as yourself to give you a presence that's going to have results and relevancy in terms of your growth as you scale. A strategy that we generally recommend through the Hire an Expert program is a strategy around creating relationships within your community around you. So what that means is, so if you're a dentist, for example, right, and you want to find a way to show appreciation to either people that referred into your practice or, reward certain patients for having, a great checkup or going through a great process, it'd be nice to partner with businesses around you. So looking at the coffee shops, the restaurants, looking at, florists and other types of stores that you can support in your community by providing that as the incentive back to your patients, for example. So what that does is start to foster a sense of community. Having those people support your business and you support their business now grows into a way where you're driving traffic around each other, and again, it ties back into your strategies. You can get into backlinks, you can create fresh content, you can start to kind of push business each other's way online, you can create cross promotions to grow each other's awareness on social media, and there's just so many different beautiful ways that this works. But it all starts with building that one relationship that's relevant to your business, where both of you benefit in a way that's great for the community around you. So thank you again. I hope these tips were helpful and useful to get you along your journey, or at least audit where you're at in your journey on the SEO side of things. Once again, my name is Sanju Ganglani. SEO is what we love, and we've won multiple awards for it, so it's truly our passion. And we love partnering with the Bookmark team under the Hire an Expert program, because it allows us to work with customers like yourselves to grow and expand and set a strategy to not only scale your business, but scale your site with Bookmark and add functionality and add pieces to it that just kind of give you that edge over your competition, which is so important nowadays. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or feel free to reach out to our customer success team. They're absolutely amazing, they're very responsive, and just like me, they just love what they do. So we look forward to hearing from you soon, and thank you again for the opportunity.